Azure here. Gonna be sharing with you today my cleric build. It took me a while, you know. You have to get to the 5th milestone to get the single stack companion gear, and I have to farm the master demon, the master defense of Moondancer. So let's go. For the race, I'm using Azimar for the outgoing healing, increasing HP, for the increasing power, and yeah, you can use Drow for the debuff. It can be useful because the cleric attacks a little bit faster than the paladin, for example. So you can make use of this. Either the Drow or the renegade Drow, it's fine. Try to pick the one that you don't have in your regular group. If the tank is using the Drow, you might want to pick the renegade Drow. Just be aware of that. You can use the Wood Elf as well, especially because this build kind of lacks the critical strike. So it's good to have the Wood Elf as well. And Dragonborn, of course, if you have it. For the stats, I'm using Wisdom and Charisma. If you feel like you need more critical severity, you can drop the Charisma and go with the Dexterity. Wisdom is mandatory for the outgoing healing, guys. Gear, guys. For the gear, I'm gonna be using the new hat that comes from the Advanced Moondancer. It's a little bit buggy. I don't know if it's a bug or not, to be fair. If you die in combat, you do not get you don't get the stacks anymore. So just have that in mind. If you don't want to take the risk, you can go back to using the Master Demon ones. I don't like this one. You never get 10 stacks, guys. I keep on telling you guys that. So if you it might be better to use the regen if you don't have the boots, or if you have the legendary version, it's stacked with the boots. You can use the rain catcher or the upgrade version of it. You can use the 5% critical strike one that you can buy after completing the Master Demon Web pits as well. Those are good options. For the armor piece, guys, I still think this is the best one. It gives me 7.5 outgoing healing and 2% critical strike for me and for my allies. So this is great. I see some people using this chest piece here. It is great. It's high iron level. Should you get the same amount of outgoing healing probably, but you don't get a critical strike and you don't give people the critical strike. So I wouldn't use this. I still prefer to use this to help the team to get the caps. But if you want to use that, and just know it also stacks with the ring as well. So if you have the glowing restoration ring that gives 5% outgoing healing, it should stack both. I don't like it because as soon as you take 1 damage, you're not getting the max outgoing healing. So have that in mind as well. For the arm, guys, I have one here that you get from the hunts. It's another debuff. Okay, it's another debuff. Ideally, I wanted to have the one that gives more divinity from the Master Defense of Moondancer, but I still don't have it. So the option is this one. I wouldn't go out of my way to farm this, guys, because it's not that big of a deal. The debuff is a 2% reduction in awareness and some paralysis if the target's not controlling you. So it's not that powerful. It has a 10% chance to proc. So it's not that big of a deal. If you have it, you can use it. If you don't, you can use something like that. Serene gloves from the Dragon Hunt for more power, which is the more efficient gloves you can have because it gets 7.5 power, but we don't need that much power. Or you can use this one. You can use this one from the Master Demon Web Pits with the critical strike. We are not going to be capping the critical strike if you use the divinity gloves that I'm suggesting, but if you use this one, you're going to cap it. Of course, you can change the consumables around. I do use the watermelon sorbet, the wild storm, and the flask of potency. So if you change to square soup, maybe you can change something in the build to cap all stats, but I don't want to use square soup in all my healers because it's quite expensive, so I try to avoid it. For the weapons, you use I made this build with the Solarian one. So you should be fine. Whatever weapon you use, you gotta beat the stats capped or really close to capped. Even if the master with the master weapons, even that too, even the low version one. But yeah, the new version now is cheaper, thankfully. If you have the money, you can go buy it. And yeah, if you use the perfect weapons, it's gonna be even easier to cap because you get 5% critical strike, 5% critical severity. For the boots, you're gonna be using the regen one. That's a no-brainer. For the set, you're gonna be using debuffs. Using the Marilyn set. If someone else is using the Marilyn set, you can go change to Apocalypse or the Stunning. But nowadays, nobody's using them. No, not even the healers. So yeah, you can stick with the Marilyn set, which is the highest option you have, highest item level option, and it helps you out to cap stats because 6 dexterity is helpful, and we do have some extra dexterity here. So we have 9 dexterity here to help you cap the stats. For the ring, I'm using Grace again for the debuff. You don't need more than one ring here, one Grace in a group or in a trial. So if anybody else is using, you can change for something like I don't know if I have the outgoing healing one here. I don't have it yet for the cleric. But you can go with the outgoing healing for the glow restoration. You can go with the critical strike one. You can use whatever you like. The grace here don't actually help us at all. It gives combat advantage and nothing else, guys. So this is a flexible slot if you don't need to use it. I use the Opal Ring because it increases the heals, the multi-target heals. The healing word is included, of course. This goes above the cap, so it doesn't make sense, guys. To you, if you're missing, for example, if you're at 80% outgoing healing and you're using this, it doesn't make sense. Only use this ring if you have the outgoing healing close to cap, like 87%, 88, 86 even. Otherwise, you don't get any benefit of using this ring. You can use other options such as the new outgoing healing ring from the Moon Dancer. Only use this ring if you can cap the outgoing healing. For the shirt, I'm gonna use the new shirt for more outgoing healing. That's another 7.5 outgoing healing. And why do I have this on? I'm gonna be using the 5% power. For the enchantments, I'm gonna be running with 1 Cobalt, 2 Jades, and you 1 Guarded and the Jade on the utility. The defense, you can use whatever you have. I just suggest if you're building your characters, just have a couple of these so you can switch around if you need it to change the ratings. That's why I do have duplicates of the Garnet and Jades. I have 3 of each so I can change around if I need it. Because sometimes, for example, in the Boons, the guild doesn't have a certain boon, so you can switch things around here and make room for it. For the overload, I'm using the Devil's Precision for more critical strike. The other one is flexible. You can use the Ward if you feel like if you're running, for example, the Demon Rapids for giving everybody 10% mitigation against demons. You can use the action point one as well. It's fine. For the combat enchantment, I'm using that 7.5 critical chance one. For the bonus, I'm using movement speed. You can go with charge speed. You can go action point. I prefer the movement speed because it's good to have. So guys, for the powers, I'm gonna be using in the at will the Scattering Light for proccing the Grace. If you're not using the Grace, you should go with Sacred Flame, which is a little bit faster. If you don't have any debuffs on, just use whatever you like. I use Blessing of Light to increase the heals sometimes. It does increase the heals on the initial cast of the Healing Word and the Bashing of Health. Of course, I'm not going to be using that every time, but it's great to have because it actually increases the heal of Hallowed Ground and it doesn't go away. I don't know if it's a bug or not, but yeah, it's good. The encounter, I use the Bastion of Health, Divine Glow, and a Healing Word is the main heal. So if you feel like you have enough regen, You can change Divine Glow for Exaltation for even more heals. Remember that this goes above the cap, so you're always going to get something out of this. It does increase the healing word, it does increase the Guardian of Life. It's fully working with the Guardian of Life now, and increases the Hallowed Ground as well. Or you can use Intercession for the emergency heal. For the dailies, Hallowed Ground, Guardian of Life. You know, Guardian of Life you use every now and then. And the Hallowed Ground is more a specific situation kind of power where everybody's together about to take a damage or taking damage over time for mitigation. Most of the time, Guardian Life. Class feature, I have Span of Faith and Hello Guide. If you don't have the outgoing healing companions, if you don't have enough outgoing healing guys, I suggest you go Overflowing Spirits. I know you may think this is a bad class feature, but remember, I've done a video about this in the past. Just remember that the powers do snapshot. What that means is the powers don't look at your stats fluctuating. They only care about the stats that you have the moment you cast them. So if you remember to cast your healing word every time your divinity is full, you always get the benefit of this perk for the whole duration of the healing word, which is 18 seconds. And 18 seconds, guys, is enough to regen all your divinity back to full again. So it's fine to use this perk. Of course, there are gonna be some situations where you're gonna have to cast more heals. Especially, I'm gonna give the only two places you're gonna be needing to do that. It's probably gonna be uh, in the first boss of the Temple of the Spider. If you don't, if you get the gas if you get some stacks of gas there, probably on the second boss is the most needed in healing, and the last boss of the Master Demon Weapons. Any other place in the game, you can use this. You're gonna be fine. You don't need that much healing. If you feel like you have, if you wanna use this perk, and if you feel like you're not having the divinity full all the time, you can also pair this up with this desperate prayers to get more outgoing healing whenever your divinity goes down. So you're gonna get 25 when your divinity is full, and you get some up to 20 when your divinity goes down. So only change for that once you have everything, guys. This is not needed at all, to be fair. This 5% increase in healing goes above the caps as well, guys. That's why I'm using. For the free repeated blessings, guys, remember that every time you cast a healing word and it goes and heal another player, for example, with the Bastion of Health, you extend the duration of the healing word for more, 6 seconds. That's the effect of a repeated blessings. If you have the healing word up, even if it has 1 second remaining, and if you put a Hallowed Ground up, the Hallowed Ground actually works with the repeated blessings and will refresh the healing word back to 18 seconds again. So that's another thing to keep in mind. For example, on the healing check at the Demon Web Pits, you cast the healing word on everybody, you throw the Hallowed Ground on the ground, and it refreshes the healing word. You don't have to cast the healing word again until the Hallowed Ground expires, until 18 seconds after the Hallowed Ground expires. So the Hallowed Ground is 12, it's 18 now, I think they fix it, the tooltip. So 18 seconds of Hallowed Ground and 18 seconds of the healing word. So you actually extend the healing word for 36 seconds. And after that, you cast it again. For the second feat, Battle Prayer, whenever you use a power, you have the chance to have a cast of the tab power of the Mark of Divinity for free. It's really good, especially when you need to heal the tank quickly. For the third feat, there's nothing good here. I use this because I'm using Divine Glow, so this gives them a little bit of damage mitigation. For the fourth, I'm using Persistent Guardian. That makes the Guardian life stays for longer and do more heals. And the last feat, Angel of Life. In case you're running out of divinity, you just hold down your R1, your tab power to get this the access of infinite mana, infinite divinity for a short period of time. It has a cooldown. I'm not gonna be needing that too much, guys, but it's there if you want it. I know some players don't use this power here, this feat, because they think that they will reduce the cast time of a Mark of Divinity. It doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. The only thing that does is that increases the possible hold time of the tab power to 4 seconds. It does not increase the time you needed to cast the Light of Divinity. If you want to cast the Light of Divinity, you just hold 2.5 seconds. You don't have to hold the full 4 seconds. You just have to cast it right here, for example. Boom, that's 2.5 seconds. That's your Light of Divinity there, man. That's even more than 2.5. That's probably 3. But you don't have to hold to the end, guys. That's don't be afraid to pick one perk here, man. I think this is more useful than that. This is Gathering Light actually creates a kind of a heal AoE around the target that you mark, and I don't think it's very useful since you have the healing word that it's a huge AoE already. So I think it's more helpful to have the emergency feat that gives you infinite divinity. And that's it for the powers, guys. Boom, guys. For the guild stronghold boons, I'm using power, defense, and revive sickness. For the campaign boons, you go with power, critical strike, power, critical severity, defense, and movement speed. That's the most important one. I grabbed the lingering medicine. It's because I have 100 points here, guys. So I do have some more boons to get. But basically, what power, critical strike, movement speed, critical severity, power. You put awareness here, more power. I want to grab the forte, outgoing healing, action point, and recharge speed. And the master boons, you want to get the blessed advantage and the blessed resilience to help both the DPS and the tank. I've told you this in the past, but blessed advantage is proccing quite often now. So you kind of get 6% power from here. I don't use it in the build, but if you have, for example, very close to capping power, you can just let it go, man. Just take a hit, power. This will cap the power for you. Okay, I don't build around this, but just know that you get power from this one. So if you're missing a little bit, don't worry too much. Companion, guys, I'm using Portobello again because of the boon that gives power. If you don't have Portobello, it's fine. I do my builds around Portobello because they give 3.5% power. So it's a good companion to have. It helps me and it helps the DPS. So yeah, because of the boom, you don't have to have Portobello, but it's great. The other options for companions are Drits. You can use the Intellect Devourer for crowd control, especially in the Moon Dancer. You're probably gonna have to use a companion that helps the team. But yeah, the Intellect Devourer is great for crowd control. Drits, you have you can use the Lion, Stalwart Golden Lion. You can use the Black Death Scorpion. You can use the Spine Devil, Tutor. It's fine as well. If you're starting, I just recommend you try to get the Drits, the Tutor, and you work your way towards the others after. Portobello you can get from doing appointment events. I think you need 5 coins to buy it, if I'm not mistaken. If you're starting, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy the Portobello unless you have all the enchantment that you need, because you can get cool modes from that as well. So don't go and buy the Portobello if you still need enchantments. For the equipment, I'm using the 2 of the single stat, 1 outgoing healing. 2 is all you need if you have the gear that I'm using right now. But if you want to buy 3, you probably can, or you want to buy the upgraded version of this one. I'm probably going to buy another one of this just in case for the next modules, and just in case I need more outgoing healing. But yeah, you only need 2. Companion bonuses, Raptor is a must. Quickly for outgoing healing critical strike, Golden Bullet for outgoing healing, Black Dragon in Sight for critical strike. If you have the, I think it's, let me see if I have here, the one from the Battle Pass is the same thing, critical strike, Grump Confidence, 7.5 critical strike as well, and Dritz. For the combat power, you need to have the 4, the Fantastic 4, Swarm, Pegasus, T-Rex, and Eclipse. For the equip power, you need to have Mystic Aura, Runic Aura, and Pack Tactics. Where is that? Here. That comes from the spider, if I'm not mistaken. Runic Mystic Aura comes from the Lizard, which is good. Is a good mount to have for a healer. Runic Aura comes from the Manticore, and Pack Tactics comes from the Spider, if I'm not mistaken. The colors I have outgoing healing and the critical severity, and the other one is up to you guys. The other ones in movement speed. The other colors you can choose whatever. For the bonus, I'm using Chapter Devotion. The important thing about insignias here, guys, if you notice, I'm using 2 of the outgoing healing ones that you can get from the Master Demon Weapons campaign. The Demon Weapons campaign. You can buy it from there, but you have to upgrade yourself. Or you can buy from other places. It's quite expensive, to be fair. Yeah, I'm using Shepherd Devotion, Gladiator's Goal for the movement speed, Magistrator's Patience. I still think this is one of the best effects, but I'm still waiting on a Force Lab now that can use that. Mendel's Covenant for an additional ratings that I need, and Lionheart's Perseverance for survivability. If you don't have any of this, you can, if you don't have one of those, you can perhaps go with the, let's see here, another Mendel's Covenant. It's fine. I wouldn't use more than 2. You can use Assassin's Covenant and Survivor's Specialist is expertise for more Forte. Forte gives a little more extra critical severity and gives you Divinity Regen if you need it. You're gonna take a hit in the Revival Sickness, the Resurrection Sickness debuff that you get when you die. You're gonna be losing more HP, but it's fine. The healers don't die that much, to be fair. And you can use another Gladiator's Rule for even more movement speed, which is great. And Assassin's Covenant. And I think that's it, guys. I think that I covered everything. If I missed something, guys can ask me in the comment section. I'm gonna try to put some more things in a description of the consumables and everything. And anything that I miss, I'll probably put there as well. But you guys can ask me in the comment section. I will answer, man. See you guys around. Take care. Have a good time.